welcome to Earth to Rocco. Today we're making some vegan stuffed pasta shells with a filling of tofu ricotta, spinach, and mushrooms. This is packed with protein and iron, and a lot of flavor. Anyone you serve this to is going to be asking for seconds, thirds, and fourths, even if they're not vegan. This recipe is super easy and it'll make you look like an Italian master chef. So let's waste no more time and start cooking. We're gonna start by making some tofu ricotta. Tofu gets a really bad rap, and before I went vegan, I didn't like it much either. But now tofu's become my best friend. Tofu may be bland, but it has a lot of substance. It's the kind of friend you can mold into whatever you want. And today we're gonna make it into some delicious ricotta. So I'm gonna use some soft tofu and some firm tofu. The soft tofu is gonna make our ricotta silky, and the firm tofu is gonna give it the texture of cheese. I'm gonna combine them together in a bowl and break it up with a fork. It looks like ricotta, but does it taste like ricotta? Not yet. We'll add some lemon juice, apple cider vinegar. The apple cider vinegar and lemon juice are gonna give it the tanginess of ricotta cheese. Nutritional yeast. The nutritional yeast is gonna add that cheesy flavor. Some salt and garlic powder. Now you can mix it up. Now our tofu ricotta is done, and I'm gonna let it sit in the fridge so it can absorb the flavors of the ingredients we just added. While our ricotta is sitting in the fridge, we're gonna start making a simple tomato sauce to pour on top of our pasta shells. First, I'm gonna turn my stove on to a medium-high heat. In the pan, I'm gonna heat up some olive oil. When the oil's hot, you can add in 2 cloves of crushed garlic. Let that saute for a few minutes. Now take out the garlic from the oil. I'm gonna put in a bottle of passata. I need to add in some water to the tomato sauce, so I put a little bit in the jar and I'm gonna shake it up and add it in. We'll put some salt, black pepper, and we're gonna tear up some leaves of fresh basil. By tearing the basil into the sauce, we're preserving all of the aroma from the basil. When you cut it on a cutting board, all of that aroma gets stuck onto the board. We're gonna let this simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. While the tomato sauce is simmering, we're gonna prepare the rest of the ingredients for our filling. I'll turn the stove on to a medium-high heat. I'm gonna drizzle some olive oil in the bottom of a pan. The oil is now hot, and I'm gonna add in some chopped cremini mushrooms. These are gonna give the pasta shells a really meaty texture. We're just gonna saute it for a few minutes until it's lightly browned. Now the mushrooms have browned, and I'm gonna add in some chopped garlic, a little bit of salt, black pepper, some thyme, and oregano. Here I have some frozen spinach that I thawed and drained. I'm gonna add that into the pan. Here you can also use fresh spinach. I'm just gonna let this cook until the spinach is wilted and the water is reduced. It's been about 7 minutes and our spinach and mushroom mixture is now ready. I'm gonna remove it from the heat and just allow it to cool for a bit. I'm gonna bring a large pot of water to a boil on the stove to cook the pasta shells. I'm using conchiglioni, which are large pasta shells. To get an idea of how many shells to use, I'm just gonna place them in the casserole dish that I'm using, leaving a little bit of space in between them. This is because they're gonna grow as they cook. Our water is almost boiling, so I'm gonna add in a generous amount of salt. When the water's bubbling, add in the pasta. We're cooking the pasta less than al dente because it'll finish cooking in the oven and it'll keep it nice and firm for stuffing. Now we're gonna strain the pasta and rinse it with cold water to stop it from continuing to cook. It's time to stuff our pasta shells. It smells really good in here. First, I'm gonna add the spinach and mushroom mixture into the tofu ricotta. At the bottom of our casserole dish, we're gonna drizzle some olive oil And then we're gonna add a thin layer of sauce. With a small spoon, we'll take each pasta shell and stuff it with filling. Make sure to press it in gently. Now that we've stuffed the pasta shells, we can cover it with the rest of our sauce. How easy was that? Now all we gotta do is bake it in the oven for 20 to 30 minutes. The oven has been preheated to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. This is one of the best things I've ever tasted. It's so flavorful. If you want to find the ingredient list and instructions for today's recipe, head on over to earth2rocco.com. If you liked today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button to get notifications for all of my latest videos. Buon appetito e ciao a tutti!